You're listening to The Real Social Proof Podcast with Mr. Sleepers for Suckers himself, David Shands, and your go-girl, Dacia Ruth.
Y'all heard?
Let's get it.
All right, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. Is it real? So the name of the company is Real Social Proof.
Okay.
Is it the Real Social Proof Podcast, or is it just the Social Proof Podcast? What do you think?
It's the Social Proof Podcast.
It's the Social Proof Podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, where we got two co-hosts that ain't got it all together yet. We just out here. I'm David Shands, a small business entrepreneur, entrepreneurship coach. I am everything entrepreneur. I just like to start stuff and build stuff, and not just for the fact of building it, but I do like to make money as an entrepreneur. Because if you're not making any money, I feel like you're not an entrepreneur. You're just a person who has a hobby. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay, Dacia. What's
fair.
up?
And so I'm Dacia Ruth, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook and the like at Dacia Ruth, and that's DACIA. I am excited to be a part of this venture. David called me and said, let's jump on. So we're here. We're getting started.
When did she get all soft-voiced it? When that happened? She
know
was
what?
turned up a second ago, and then she got on, hey, I'm Dacia.
I'm
just happy to be here.
I'm multifaceted, right? So I can have different voices. So we're gonna get live. We're gonna get crunk. Yesterday was super fun. Take one was super fun.
I don't know if people use crunk either. To every podcast, she used a word that nobody use no more. She said, we about to get crunk. Okay. I ain't mad at you.
I like timeless words. Okay. So clearly that's not one.
Yeah. Crunk definitely had a time limit on it.
And we in the building. So what? I feel like Brandon used in the building on one of his trash videos or something.
I don't know use that.
No, never.
The last time I used I'm in the building, I think I had a tall T on. We in the building. But anywho, we just here, man.
We're here.
Talking about stuff. Obviously I have an affinity for entrepreneurship, and we were talking before we got on. It was like, yo, what do you want to talk about? And the conversation came up, when do you know when to quit? Or when is quitting okay?
Because yesterday or the episode before, we talked about how to start.
Right.
So
see, you just told them we not live.
Right.
Dang.
We could edit that out.
Put us out there.
Okay. No, I mean, it's all good. I mean, we are definitely still live. We're live and in person.
Oh, we
in
live.
your ear as you're listening to this, right?
For sure.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Donald. Hey, Gina. Marcus Rozier joined.
Hold on. Let me shout out my friends. Juan is in the building. Jeremiah Wood, Pierre, Onisha.
My mom is tuned in.
I got some people in here. Brennan, what's the word?
Okay, yeah. Mark is on Facebook. So I'm on Facebook and on Instagram for those that may not know. So you can pick and choose your platform.
No doubt. So when is it okay to quit?
When is it okay?
When is it okay to quit? What do you think?
Definitely not on day one.
Definitely not. Well, okay. So, you ever been on a date? Well, nah, because you engaged. You ain't never been on no other dates before, other than with
true.
Mr. Tom Darnell.
That's not true.
So
that's not true.
I know I ain't never been on no date. The only person I ever dated was my wife.
Is your wife?
Period. That was the first. I was low key none in it.
That's all.
Before I met my wife.
That's low key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to spell
key.
past.
Okay, past is just.
I ain't got one.
Man. I hear you.
Nah, but it is okay to quit day one. What if the vibe ain't right? You quit before it gets too far.
It's true. You can find out in the door. It's like, this ain't working.
Off rip. So I got a system of, I think we talked about it last podcast. The life cycle of a good idea, excitement, evolution, engagement, resistance, and then decision. Right. Those are kind of the stages. You go from excitement to evolution, but you get so excited. When you start to evolve the idea, you lose the excitement, and then you can decide, do I still want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, what if you started engaging people before you started like evolving the idea? And some people do that. They just want to go sell
sure.
instead of spending that time. But I think the earlier you quit, the better. The earlier you quit, the better. You agree with that?
I don't. because it depends on what the situation is. And I think that's the thing about advice. And to everybody out there, there's so much advice that's always swarming through social media. And you really have to be careful about what you apply to your situation and really look at and analyze what's happening for you. Now, if we're talking about dating and relationships, possibly it might be cool to quit because you don't want to get too invested. And it may be the same for businesses, but there's something about tenacity that's important, about resistance, because you're going to get or be able to persevere through resistance.
Right.
Because you may have a situation that you can overcome, and you may learn something about your strength or your fortitude or your ability to push through, and that may be the lesson.
Okay. Well, is it better to quit day 1 or day 40? In anything?
Again, I don't know if I can quantify that. Like,
I don't know.
You get to day 40, like, up is day 40, it ain't cracking, so let's just jump ship.
Yeah. I've experienced, especially.
Does anyone use cracking either?
Don't nobody. Oh my gosh, she is so old school. Yeah, I want to ask our Instagram studio audience.
When is it okay to quit?
When is it okay to quit?
Marcus, you still on? If so, let us know.
I think okay? One time it's okay to quit.
When's it okay to quit? Hey, Brittany. Hey, Daniel.
I feel like it's okay to quit
y'all on Facebook
when you're playing a two player sport and the other person isn't playing. That's a good point. That's a good time to quit.
Fair enough.
Like if, say for instance, me and you start doing this podcast, right? And like you just stop doing the podcast, or you're like, oh, I can't make it. 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 I don't want to do it. Yeah, you stop answering my.
Yeah.
It is okay. Because this particular business, this particular project requires two people.
Right.
Absolutely. But if you stop, it's okay to quit and start it over with maybe somebody else or with yourself or just another group. So that's why in relationships, that's a 2-player sport, right?
Cool.
When one person gives up, is it okay to quit?
Oh, for sure.
Or do you just keep fighting for that person who don't want you?
Oh, for sure. I think... yeah, if it's 2 people on board in business or relationship and one person is not performing or they're just not showing up or they're just showing signs, I think it's worth a conversation at least to try to figure. So I think sometimes we just make assumptions and then just say pivot. That's a gut check thing too that you have to kind of figure out for yourself. But I think, yeah, if it's 2 people on the not on the same page, it's worth exploring that.
I have another good time to quit. When you have absolutely nothing left. If you can honestly say you gave it all you got. Honestly, say I gave it all I got. It's okay to quit.
Okay. I'm just saying that's relative. All you got is relative. It's relative depending upon who it is.
Have you ever reached your peak? Like, have you ever done everything you can?
Oh, absolutely. In that past that I don't have because I've only dated the person that I'm dating.
Exactly. You learn it. You feel me, Brandon? You ain't never dated nobody else, right?
No.
Nobody else.
What is dating? I knew as soon as I saw my wife, oh, we getting married. In my mind, we was married day one.
Day one.
Okay, I ain't never dated nobody else.
It was like you couldn't see about. Before that, right? You just was like scales on your eyes. It's like, dang, I see now.
Right, and I got to tell y'all real quick, my neck is throbbing right now.
You're actually getting a little bit more movement.
Are you
now?
I'm moving.
Okay, y'all can't really see his angle.
Stiffness is crazy.
But he's doing like one of these joints where he can't.
They looking at me on Instagram like I'm just cool. No, I can't move my neck. And you ever woke up with a stiff neck? You ever had a stiff neck?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
It lasted for about 3 days for me.
3 days?
This was last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I was playing basketball this morning and I just went for a pass and I just felt something happen. You know what I mean? And then that's when I realized I'm no longer 19. Today, I realized I wasn't young anymore because I wasn't doing that. If I'm like lifting weights and I'm like, oh, and I strained something, I'm like, oh, it went out. It's just, okay, I'm an idiot. I was doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing and my neck went out. I was running up and down the court.
So you didn't do no crazy fake pass?
I low-key,
you weren't...
I didn't even intercept the pass. Somebody passed it. I hit the ball, and I felt something happen in my neck. It's over.
What up, JD?
I'm officially old. But let me tell you this. I almost didn't come and do this podcast though. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you what happened, okay? Just in transparency. So I tell Dacia that I need to go to the chiropractor. Mm-hmm. And she didn't reply to me. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm thinking, this is why I did it, Panique. I was thinking she's gonna be like, yo, are you okay? You probably need to go to the hospital. She didn't do none of that. So here we are. Every time I laugh.
That is not completely true. That is not completely true.
You did not reply.
Well, I didn't see your text message because shortly theretheafter I came into the space and then I saw you and then we had a real conversation.
It wasn't shortly thereafter.
It was like 15 minutes. 10 minutes. I didn't get your text. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. So I was trying to get you to quit.
Okay, see?
So it didn't look like I gave it. If she had been like, yo, are you sure you want to do this? I would have replied, I got to do what I got to do. We can't quit. And I was hoping she was going, this whole conversation played out in my head like, yo, we're just not going to do the podcast today.
I see what it is. But for the record, I said that when I got here and you were like, nah.
You didn't say that.
Absolutely, I did.
Did you? What'd you say?
I asked you, I said, well, do you want to continue with this? Are you sure you want to do this?
Oh, yes, I remember that. And I said,
oh, now
I put on my somber face and I was like, I mean, we just got, I think we're going to be fine. And she's like, okay. Okay, let's set up. I'm like, dang, just heartless. She don't care nothing about my little neck.
Not at all. I made sure you took an extra leave. Shout out to pain meds.
yeah, she's like, yo, just take some medicine. Like, I'm like, golly. And I look at, like, Dacia has that real, like, nurturing personality. I'm thinking she definitely going to tell me to go home, take care of myself.
I definitely want you to be better.
You don't care.
Yes, I do.
You don't care about nothing but this podcast.
All right, let's get it. Let's work. Let's work.
But you know what? The cool part is...
When is it okay to quit?
When is it okay to quit?
On your partner for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get you to quit. Okay. I was trying to get you to care about me, but you didn't. So it's all good. But you know what? That's kind of how we created this conversation because I was looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how many of us are actually like looking for an excuse just so we can validate that, oh, it's okay for me to quit.
But it was actually a valid one. Like, you could have easily texted me and told me, yo, I can't do it today because I really am I'm physically incapable of moving my body. And that it doesn't have to even be invalid. It can be a valid excuse as to why you want to quit. And that's why I say that I don't know if just because you reach some sort of boundary or barrier means that you all of a sudden have to jump off ship.
Right. And yeah, to your point, you're absolutely right because here we are, right? It's happening, right? But I didn't feel like it was like I didn't give my all to make it happen, right? I knew I could just fight through it and we just make it happen, but I was still looking for an excuse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think some people in their mind, they justify good reasons why they should quit, and they come up with really good ones.
Yeah.
So I did this one interview. I was telling that I met this guy who, he lived under a bridge, and
like literally,
yeah, he's homeless.
Oh, wow.
Homeless guy.
Okay, because you can't just casually say that like it was normal.
I mean, but you think about it, you see homeless people, right? But
he was, he was over on.
That's a good reason to not like start a business and be super ambitious because that's a lot you got to deal with, like mentally.
Yeah. And
I can't relate. I don't know what it's like. You feel me? But then later on that day,
how long was he under the bridge?
I don't know. He was a homeless guy. We, obviously asking for money.
Sure.
And you know what? He was probably under there for a while because the newly homeless people, they like kind of cool. They don't want to approach you like
the newly homeless.
You got any change? I mean, we home.
It's a
somebody that's comfortable in the road, they like, got any change? Yeah. And they just move on. Got any change? You ain't got nothing? All right, cool. Got any change? And they still say, God bless you. Those are the ones that
they
good
say,
because,
thank you.
Look, because they hoping that you're going to come back. You know what I'm saying?
This isn't
well, stop laughing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But they do the ones that
I have a really
God bless you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, because they, like the residual, they understand, hey, you got to run through the numbers. You be nice to people that come back. And I'll probably be, never mind. But anywho, I met this guy after that.
And can I just say that I have a huge sore spot and a soft spot actually for homeless population, and so that's something that in my spare time I really try to focus on. So
absolutely.
I was laughing at David. I wasn't laughing at homeless populations and
She wasn't
their
laughing
plight.
she ain't
No,
she ain't laughing at the last joke.
I just want to make that.
She ain't laughing at the last
I
one.
just need to make that clear because,
All right.
you know,
All right.
you know,
We got your disclaimer.
I just want to
Okay.
make it clear. So anyway.
But anyway, fast forward.
Yeah.
Later that day, I met a guy who was a painter that didn't have any hands, made beautiful art. Like he drew us.
What do you?
This guy was in Augusta.
Okay.
So I was with
chilling.
I was with Dante Robinson. So he's an ex-football player.
Okay.
And we just started building a relationship. We was like working on some projects or whatever. But he took me to a store. He had a store called Pick Six Kicks, and the guy was outside and he was painting us. So he put the paintbrush in his mouth and he'd paint accurately. Wow. But he didn't have any hands. He was telling the story how like it was like he was like electrocuted or something like that, like a wire that came down, electrical wire or whatever. But he didn't use that as an excuse.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yo, here's the crazy thing.
And should he have quit? Because I'm sure he wanted to at some point.
Oh, for sure. Anything but painting, something that requires your hands.
Right.
But the crazy thing is he wasn't a painter before he started. So he decided, yo, I need to just put this together. I got to express my my creativity one way or another.
And I guess that's my point about when you reach that, when he lost his arms and then he got to the point where he decided, like, I either have to make a decision to keep going, and how do I keep going? And then he basically rerouted. I think there comes a time where you may need to reroute.
Absolutely.
But it may not necessarily mean completely quitting.
Absolutely.
So that reroute, that revamp, that remix could look a little different, but somehow you're still progressing, you're moving forward.
Absolutely. Especially when, the people who come from different countries who have absolutely nothing. I'm sitting in this guy's office. I actually bought a direct-to-garment machine from him, and he produced them joints. We were in Philadelphia, and huge factory. I think we spent about $22,000 on that machine, and I'm not the only one to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, successful business. Got to be multiple 7-8-figure business. Has to be. So the owner brings us in, and I think he was an Asian guy. Yeah, he was an Asian guy. And we're sitting there, like, talking to him, and he got a chance to tell us his story. Like, he came over here with absolutely nothing. Can you imagine coming to a foreign country with nothing? What would you do? Okay, you go to India on a plane because you feel like it's going to be some opportunity there. You have no money. What do you do when you get there?
And I don't know anybody?
You don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. I would probably go to a shelter or somewhere where they would be passing out food, or try to get some free food. Or I would go to a hotel. And try to, so I could get some toiletries or something, some free toiletries, and try to freshen up. And then I would go to a grocery store. Well, that's an American tradition, but I would try to go somewhere where they might have some free samples or something, or they may have a free happy hour or something, and try to get, something that I could consume, and then start trying to meet people, ask questions, and figure out where some resources are. Maybe go to, I don't know, some location where they might be able to give me some pamphlets or something where I can learn about some free resources. And
how long do you think you'll be homeless? How long you think before you're gainfully employed, your own roof over your head? How long you think it would take for you?
I would want to say no more than a month.
Isn't it easy to sit in our comfortable chairs and
Absolutely.
say that, though?
But it could take longer than that.
It could.
Let's see what our viewers are thinking about. Anybody, how long would it take you to, if you were somewhere that you had never been before, and you had to just all of a sudden fend for yourself and you're homeless, how long do you think it would take you to get back on your feet?
How long do you think? That's a tough question.
Tough question.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But my man came about 3
Brandon
months.
Brandon
says 3 months?
Studio,
Panit,
3 months.
how long? How long you think? Panit says 4 months.
I'm
4 months.
hustling that 30 days.
4 month time. What you think? About a month?
Okay, so
what would you do? Yeah. What would you do, Tom? Washing cars. It's tough. Yeah, there's. I mean, well, it's not like getting on your feet.
Just getting enough cash to just be able to get like a hostel or something.
Right. So my point is, my man came over here with absolutely nothing, and he's running a multiple 7-figure business. Absolutely
Somebody
nothing
on
to that.
Facebook said a week. It take him a week.
Yeah, he lied. Okay, so look, here's the thing. Trying to figure that out. Yo, for one, 3 months is a long time. Can you imagine how hard that first week would be? And how many no's and how many missed opportunities and how that's really, really tough. Yeah. But so think about this. If I ask somebody this question, okay, you work a regular job, how long would it take you to be a full-time entrepreneur and work for yourself? If they had this conversation and they really thought about it, they'd be like, give me a couple months, I'll be out.
Yeah. 6 months and I'm...
But they say one thing out of their mouth, like, yo, I'm going to be doing this. Mm-hmm. But they've been saying that same thing for the last 6 years, 10 years. Mm-hmm. So why do you think people have to have their back against the wall to really, really fight?
Because the stakes aren't high enough. The stakes aren't high enough.
Let me ask you, have you given it your all to become the person that you want to be?
The person that I am is, if you draw a circle, like there are different parts of that circle. So spiritually, yes, I think that I've given it my all.
Solid.
Entrepreneurially, I think I have tons of room to grow.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to my family, off top, I give my all to that. My friendships
Except
and my
for
relationships.
My neck really, really hurting.
Yeah.
Go and take some leave. You know what I'm saying? You good?
I love this.
That was the equivalent of saying, you good?
First of all, right?
All right, cool.
This is the second time that David has tried to flip it to his benefit. So I'm getting the sense that this is just a thing. So
she'll get to know me, won't she?
It's cool. It's cool. Don't let him fool you. I actually cared about how his neck was. So anyway, it's funny because I thought about that when you were talking about when you're homeless, how hard it is to get really back on your feet. I volunteered at a shelter in Chicago and did mock interviews because I have a background in HR. And so I went and volunteered to help them practice interviewing for a job. And so they would come dressed in suits and we would have a conversation. And I remember sitting across the table from a distinguished man who was probably in his 50s or so. So he looked like he had some years, and you could tell that he in his eyes he was worn. But he had cleaned himself up, had a haircut, and had on some disheveled clothes that looked like they came from
Brandon don't know exactly what disheveled means.
Okay, disheveled. My bad. So he had the clothes look kind of a little frumpy, a little put to not completely pressed, but just.
I thought frumpy was like the little pouch you got in the front. Ain't that frumpy?
That's a fupa.
I think as a kid I called a girl frumpy.
That's a fupa. Okay, so I don't know.
I called her frumpy because she had the little joint. I'm like, you look very frumpy out here.
Oh gosh. All right. I don't know if that was the right. Let's take a pause for the word of the day.
Find out what frumpy truly means.
Frumpy.
Disheveled
is an adjective of a woman or her clothes dowdy and old-fashioned. Frumpish, unfashionable. So
I said that wrong.
The Urban Dictionary, though, could go in a whole different direction, which we're not going to read. So we're just going to stick to the.
What does the Urban Dictionary say?
It don't matter.
Woman of God.
What
does it say?
It doesn't even matter. We're not even going to.
Frumpy in the Urban Dictionary.
Clothing style that usually consists of bagging, careless, slothing, sweatpants, large baggy. So, kind of just sloppily
I guess she was a little frumpy then.
Okay.
I was right. I just did. I called her frumpy for the wrong reason. So if that person still
remembers that you called them frumpy, they might be scarred from that. And now you're okay.
6th grade, I called her a bunch of stuff. So I'm sorry. Okay, so the guy was frumpy. I'm sorry.
So anyway, story back focused. So he long story short, you could just tell it wasn't just the cleanest suit. But I remember asking him a simple question, and I think it was the first one on my list, and it was, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I saw the fear, the pain, the embarrassment, the shame, whatever coming across his face. And he tremored because he realized that he didn't know how to describe himself. No, and then I asked him, he struggled on every question, but then I asked him to tell me about his strengths. And so there's something that happens when you get to a place where you're truly homeless or you're truly lost or you're truly down to your lowest point, where you don't realize even, you don't even know what's good about you anymore. You don't know, you start to focus on so much that is going wrong that you can't discover or hold on to what's working well.
Gotcha.
And I think that was such a sinking moment for me, because I didn't know how to help him through that, because that was like, we need a therapist to come in, because this is no longer my jurisdiction. But I say all that to say that may be something that other people go through, that they may not necessarily be for sure homeless, but they get to a place where they can't really see past what's failing in that moment. And then I think that's where people want to quit, because they're like, it's all going wrong. It's all happening for me and it's going downhill and I can't get out of this.
Absolutely.
But the reality is that you can shift. And just like the man who lost his limbs due to being electrocuted, he decided to reroute.
Yeah.
And so I honestly don't even like to say, I was talking to my brother recently, and he wanted to quit on a project that we were working on together. And I was like, we don't quit, we finish.
I like that.
So you don't...
We don't quit, we finish.
Yeah, so you don't quit until you actually finish it. Otherwise, then what are you quitting? You're quitting because of your emotion. You're quitting because it got hard, but it's going to get hard.
Absolutely.
Expect it to get hard.
Yep.
But and then when you finish it, then you can make a decision on, okay, we got to the finish line and now this product is complete. Now what's next?
You know what? I think people don't really know what their finish line is. And you said something earlier that really stuck with me. And you said trimmer, and I think it's tremble, because trimmer is like a hair, it's clippers.
Okay, do we need to look that
Trimmer.
up?
Do y'all remember what she said?
Trimmer.
I was on that joint for a minute. She said trimmer, right?
Trimmer.
And I was like, I think she meant to say tremble. I was listening to the story. But look, I don't think people...
Tremor is an involuntary rhythmic muscle contraction leading to shaking movements in one or more body parts.
What school did you go to? She uses all kind of words, don't she, Brandon?
I was an English major.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that explains it.
Okay.
I
read. Tremors. Does anybody know what a tremor is? Y'all don't know what a tremor is?
It's the ones you do, like how you use the fade. Yeah, you need the tremors for the fade.
No, not a
There's
trimmer.
only one way. There's only one way to get a clean fade. You need a pair of trimmers.
Tremor. That's a trimmer.
All right. Do y'all agree with me? You need trimmers to give a clean fade. All right. So, but I don't think people know what their finish line is. Like,
That's
what
true.
is, like, how do you know when you've arrived? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what the finish line is. So when I worked at the Cheesecake Factory, my finish line was 6 figures, because that's what everybody kept saying. I'm like, oh, 6 figures just sounds mad cool.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my finish line.
What's your finish line now?
$1 million in 12 months. I haven't done it yet. So for 2020, my goal is to make $1 million in 12 months. Mm. But if I don't know that that's my goal, I'll start doing a whole bunch of stuff, and that's probably a reason people don't quit, because they keep running and running and running, and they're not running towards anything. Imagine you just start driving, but you don't know where you're going. Mm-hmm. When do you stop? At what point do you quit?
When the gas runs out.
Yeah, at some point you say, "All right, I've been driving for a while. I'm not really clear where I'm going. Just stop, quit, and then just start over. Set a new path, set a new plan."
Okay, so do you guys see this theme? I keep encouraging people not to quit. And David, even when we started this podcast, he was like, I wanted Dacia to tell me to quit. Now, the moral of this story is Dacia is not going to encourage you to quit. Mm-hmm. I'm going to encourage you to keep it moving.
I am. I done told some of my clients, you need to quit. That's stupid.
For real? Okay, so give us some examples without having, without revealing anything that would identify who they are.
What? I'll cook some. Oh, so let me see. Okay, Aaron, my boy Aaron. Okay, he keeps sending me these.
Are you really? For sure. Are we really?
Oh, we not. It ain't no subliminals around here.
Are we really?
We say their name. Aaron won't mind. I can say that about Aaron because that's my boy, and I think he low key like when I cook him. He be the one laughing the hardest. You know what I'm saying?
Except that's the only time I seen him laugh then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Brandon be like, he'd be real serious.
Y'all gonna leave my boy alone. But anyway, he kept coming up with these t-shirt ideas, but he kept making the design on his phone. And I'm like, yo, Aaron, you're not an artist. You need to stop that right now. You're quit. You're not going to get this. You ain't going to do this. Not today. Gary Vee said one time, he was like, yo, I love basketball. But at some point I had to realize, I looked at my parents, both my parents mad short. It's not the cards for me. Mm-hmm. I quit.
Okay.
Make sense? So
okay,
there's the reason I say it's better to quit earlier than later is because some people just, they're quitters and they know they quit, right? So if you know you're about to start an idea but you're not going to see it through, just stop right now. Me and my boy Tommy, we was talking about this project, and we've been planning for like the last couple of weeks, and then we finally sat down and we discussed how big it was going to be. And then we stopped the conversation and said, yo, if we're going to build this business big, we're going to have to really cut out all the other stuff that we're doing because this can't be something that we start and then eventually it fades because I got important stuff to do. I got Social Proof coming up, the biggest thing in my life. He got a whole bunch of stuff going on. He's like working with his clients. I'm like, yo, bro, we need to just quit this right now. Great idea, but let's stop right now. And then we kind of worked out how we can have it just incorporated into something that we're doing.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
I just don't like... If you've been working on something for the last 12, 24 months, now's not the perfect time to quit. The perfect time to quit was 2 months, 12 months ago, 24 months ago. Now you got to keep going. Okay. It's a horrible time to quit. You already put in 2 years of your life. It's a horrible time to quit right now.
I see that. That. But I really feel like that's just you assessing before you even start what it would take to carry it out.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really think through that. They're just operating out of reaction, knee jerk. I have this emotion came over me and this passion hit me and this idea hit me and I just want to run with it. So take some time, take a pause and actually think through what you are about to commit to.
Absolutely. I'm reading this blog. I actually sent it to you to successharbor.com.
Yeah.
And it says 15 ways successful entrepreneurs know when to give up or keep fighting. Y'all want to know something? One of the ways, he said that there's no standard answer that fits all entrepreneurs, but consider the following if you consider giving up. Do you offer a product people are willing to pay for? That's good, ain't it? There's a lot of coaches out here that nobody's willing to pay for your services. Nobody's willing to pay. Just quit. Just quit. Nobody's buying it. Quit. If you put a house on the market and it's worth $200,000, but you feel because all the love you put into it, you want to sell it for $300,000. Ain't nobody paying $300,000. Take it off the market. Quit. You need to stop right now. Are you better than your competition? There's a question you need to ask yourself, right? To quit or keep fighting. So, are you better than your competition? How do you answer that question?
You have to do some peer comparisons for sure.
Right. So, what if you found out you're not better than your competition?
You either need to get better than them or bow on out.
There it is. Do you have a small group of diehard fans? Are you passionate about your business? Now, I don't 100% agree with this because Warren Buffett said, what you like to do, make it a hobby. What the world likes to do, make it a business. So I don't agree with you got to be passionate about what you do. What do you think?
I think you have to have some level of passion to something that has to connect you to get it done.
Yeah, but you don't have to be. So you're saying you have to have some level of passion about what you do.
Or you have to be invested in it. So maybe it's not necessarily passion, but you have to be committed to something. So then when it gets tough, that you can still follow through.
Here's my problem. So for 6 years, I worked at the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Do you think I was passionate about serving? No, right? But I'll stay there for 6 years when I'm not passionate about serving. But when it comes to entrepreneurship, people preach, oh, if you're not passionate, you need to quit. You need to fall in love with it. But it's okay for me to stay at a job for 6 years that I hate. Or you work at a job at 10 years, 15 years that you hate. It's okay. People are like, oh, well, just keep on trucking. But if you're working a business that you're not passionate about, people are like, oh, well, you need to do something else. That's stupid.
No. Yeah, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah. No, I know you're not. That was just a good point that I had in my head. I was cooking. What's up? I felt like I was, you know how you in your zone sometimes?
Right.
So what about you?
I was like,
It's
David, I'm sorry.
No,
I
I'm sorry. I was just in my zone.
You got passionate right then.
I felt like that was a good content.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good for the gram.
That was good. And, and then also too, while you were talking about 6 years, because Tyler Perry on the Converse side, he for 6 years he was working to produce his play, and he flopped for 6 years total. Yeah. And then he kept going, and after that 6 years, that when it popped off in 1998.
Right. So
and then
6
he had a
years
good
in,
run. Yeah.
Bad time to quit.
So should he have quit?
No, he's already in. You're already in for 6 years. Now, I feel like if he got started day one, that first couple of weeks, and you quit, I'm like, oh, good job. Do something else. But once you're 6 years in.
But they considered him a financial failure because he lost so much. Can you imagine how much money he lost?
I wonder how much he was making, though. I wonder how much he was making through that process. Because for one, when you hear these stories on TV, it's like they're only focusing on, I was homeless, but you probably had some wins in there somewhere. We don't know. I don't know. He might, okay, let me ask you this. Was he working a job while he was doing these plays?
I think he was doing it solely, like from what I recall from clips, that was all that he was doing. So how was he putting his everything into that?
He was probably making something, though.
He had to, I don't know.
We don't know. We need to do some research. Oh, this is the next one. Are you making progress? Are you making progress? So if you're not making progress, what do? Do you quit? What about you guys? Are you making progress? Or should you just quit? If you're not making progress, do you quit? What do you think?
How after 2 days? Because you just made it seem like, okay, within the first week, if you're not making progress, is.
I didn't even give an answer. I'm just reading the questions.
No, I'm going back to your previous point.
Okay, what was the point? What was it?
You were just saying basically that it's better to quit sooner than later.
Yep.
And so if you're a week in, you're not making progress in that first week, is it even fair to gauge within a week that you haven't made progress?
I say you should quit.
Okay.
Yep.
Because it's an indicator that you're not committed to it?
Absolutely. Yo, that's the easiest time to make progress in the beginning.
Right.
Okay, so I need a logo. I'm on the phone with my logo guy, and he's making the logo. That's progress. Would you agree?
Okay.
If you're like 3 weeks in and you haven't made progress, that's the easiest time to make progress.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this could be, I could write a book on this. Quit now.
Quit now.
Yeah, the earlier you quit, the better.
Trash. I think forward by Brandon Dixon.
Absolutely. Are you doing what it takes? If not, should you quit?
Okay, so let me give you an example, or let me give you a scenario, a story. I was having a conversation with a really dear friend of mine, who, for years, we've talked about entrepreneurship as a goal. She's brilliant, has a lot of great ideas. And yesterday I was talking to her and I said, my birthday is coming up on the 15th of September. And I said, for my birthday, I want you to actually present a completed idea to me. Mm-hmm. Because I think that would be, hopefully that could give her some sort of anchor to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And she was like, okay, I commit to that. Mm-hmm. So for my birthday, I want her to present something, a product, a service that's full-fledged and ready to roll out by my birthday. So she has 45 days essentially. And I challenged her because I feel like we continue to have the same conversation. So if you have a friend or person, because it could be somebody out there listening right now that's been saying for years that they or started something somewhat, or has not even started, but just has an idea that they want to, flesh out. But is it time to quit then if you just haven't touched it and you keep saying that you want to do it and you haven't done it? Is it time to just quit that idea? Quit that dream?
I feel like today is the day that we need to make a decision. I think it really just comes down to a decision. Ask yourself, am I really going to do this? Or is it like just a feeling? Is it just cool to say when I'm around my friends? If not, just give up if you're not making any progress and you listen to this and you're not going to make a decision like right now where I'm going to actually do something, just quit. I'm just encouraging people to quit today. Negative messages. I love it. Because most people gonna quit anyway. If you're not doing anything right now, just go on and quit.
Just going to quit, and then what are they gonna do? Because they just quit everything.
What you mean? They gonna go back to work Monday morning and just be in the building.
Right.
I mean, don't quit your job.
Okay.
You love that.
They're in the building?
Inside the building.
Oh, they're in the building. Okay.
No, it wasn't.
They're in the building, guys. They're in the building.
Oh my gosh. She done turned me corny. Hey. Oh my gosh.
I'm just pointing it out there.
Here's a good question. Are you digging a financial hole? Let me read this. Businesses get in debt all the time. Although it is best to avoid it, there are times when debt makes sense. If you just received a large order and you need to take on a loan to fulfill your order, it might make sense to take a debt. But if the business has been slow and you have been reluctant to cut costs, don't take on debt to keep your business afloat. I don't know if I agree with that philosophy, really. Because I took on a whole lot of debt. Okay. And it felt like it was a money pit.
Wait. Let's go back to the top of this list, because wasn't there something about it being profitable?
What you mean?
Wasn't there a point on this list, or was that later?
Or
in the future. Sorry. So if you're taking on debt, you're okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. To open my store, I took on $30,000.
That's not an indicator that it's time to quit?
No. Just because you're taking on debt? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Somebody might go in the red and feel like, okay, they may quantify that as not making progress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you don't have the money, if you don't have the money and you really believe in your product, take on some debt and build it. I haven't been afraid to take on debt, and only because I'm always willing to bet on myself. That's just a bet. Like, if I take $15,000 from this financial company, I'm saying, I'm going to bet that I'll give you your money back, and this is all I really need.
Yeah.
I was about to give up, I think it was 20% of my company, 10 or 20% of my company. And it wasn't a big company at all. Like, I think I was probably doing a few $100s a week, but I needed $10,000. And I was going to give, I think it was 20%. I was going to give them 20% of my company because I needed $10,000. And my bet was, in my head, if I take this $10,000, I'm going to make $100,000 this year. That's all I need is $10,000. Because $10,000 was just it was such a big number. I'm like, I could do marketing, I could do events, I could do all this stuff, $10,000. Now, they never gave me the money, but I was willing to take that bet twice with two different people. I was willing to give away a portion of the company because I'm like, if I can make this $1 million company, I don't mind taking 90% of that. I don't mind taking 80%.
Sure.
I just need that leg up. But some people don't want to do that. I put money on credit cards because I bet I'm going to I'm betting that I'm going to get it back and I won't ruin my credit.
Sure.
But some people, they don't want to put money on a credit card because they're not 100% sure that they'll be able to make the money back. That's why people get 10 shirts to start out with. I'm just going to start with 10. What? 10? What are you going to do with 10? Oh, I just want to see if people feeling it. You might as well quit. Go on and quit. If you got 10 shirts or a couple products and you're trying to test the market, just quit now because you don't believe in it. Dacia hates me.
No, I don't.
All right, a little bit. No,
I am soaking it in.
Aggressive entrepreneurship right here.
I'm listening.
Absolutely. Let's take a break for our sponsors.
Absolutely.
The Shooters Camp. The Shooters Camp. It is an amazing. All right.
The sound effects are live.
Amazing course that teaches you start to finish how to cash in on your camera
Photographers
career,
and videographers, heads up. This is for you.
Absolutely. And people
content creators.
Whether some people don't know what they want to do as a business, I highly recommend Shooters Camp with Brandon Dixon. Follow Brandon Shot Me on Instagram.
Just grab a camera.
Hey, listen, you know you owe me money now, right? I need my money by Monday.
Cash App.
I need my money by Monday. I'm in 50 Cent mode.
We need Cash App to be a sponsor.
Oh, you got a discount code?
No. You just tell me the discount.
Hold on. I tell you the discount and you get...
No, they tell me the discount.
So you want the customer to tell you the discount?
No.
I'm a customer. I need 80% off.
Right. 95.
It's going to be real social proof. And you get $50 off.
Okay.
All right. Well, maybe for next episode because it's already too confusing. I don't know what's going on.
Wait.
It's a real social proof. That's the discount.
Okay, use discount code
Real
Real
Social
Social Proof. I'm not 100% sure if that joint
It's
works
gonna
right
work.
now. Will you listen to this?
It ain't up yet.
It ain't up.
It ain't up yet.
Oh,
Just DM Brandon
yeah.
Shot Me if it don't work.
hey, look, if you're on my
you're-
Instagram live right now, DM Brandon Shot Me, and he'll give you 30% off your admission.
$50.
Shouts out to that.
$50 off, bruh.
30%.
30%.
What's-
$300 off.
That's cutting in your money.
You give me money?
I'm giving you money.
Okay.
Shouts out to giving me money.
All right.
Oh, if you want to sponsor our podcast, just send a DM to Dacia, DACIA
Ruth.
at realsocialproof. Is it Dacia or Dacia Ruth?
Yeah, it's Dacia.
Dacia at, why would you?
I thought you were going to sell them the DM. You said DM. I thought you said DM.
No, I said send an email. Did I say DM? I didn't say,
Okay.
I said email.
Okay, you
Didn't I?
did say email.
I can't trust Tom. I said email, right? Your fiance back there, no, whatever she said, she right.
What?
I for sure. I feel like I said email. Send an email to Dacia.
We're a united front.
He didn't even say nothing, he just shook his head. He said, I was like, all right, cool. Send a DM if you want to sponsor our podcast, Dacia at realsocialproof.com. Okay, if you're on Instagram Live, don't do it just yet because it's not set up yet.
That's
Because I don't
fine.
know my login.
That's fine.
We are so janky right now. We don't know what's going on. Remember last episode? We was trying to like figure stuff. All right, we still trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah, it's
but
fine because we started.
oh, we started.
We started.
You know what?
And we're not quitting.
It's a worse time to quit today than it was the last episode. It'll be a better time to quit today than if we do like 5 more. Okay, just want to put you on. We're losing our quit window.
Okay, that's
Just want to
fine.
put you on there.
That's fine. That's fine.
Let's get some questions from our studio audience on Instagram, or if y'all got questions too.
Got one.
What you got?
When you guys were talking about the passion.
Yeah.
So when I quit my job, everybody assumed that video
What's your
camera stuff
passion?
was my passion.
Right.
So why do people think that? And
Why do people think that video is your passion?
I mean, when I quit, they was like, "Oh man, I'm glad you're following your passion. You're following your dreams."
Oh, because yeah. Oh man.
So repeat the question for those that may not have
well, you
got
got to
it from
repeat
the-
it so he can hear it. So
Okay.
they can hear it.
Okay, so your question is, Brandon shared that he left his job to pursue a career in video, and they assumed that because you left your 9 to 5, that you were so passionate about
You're
video.
following
You were
your
following
dream.
your dreams, and you were so passionate about video, and that's not true.
No, he wasn't following his dream. He was just getting out of the nightmare. Right? It seemed like a better idea.
So tell us.
That's so crazy. That is funny though. That's real because people assume if I quit my job to be an entrepreneur, I must be following my dream. When really it's just, this is stupid.
I
what
would
we
rather
doing right
work for myself than work for you. This
It only
is
gotta
just
be that
stupid.
deep. Yeah, this is stupid. Why are we lifting boxes and putting them on shelves
This is like
for $10 an hour? This
All
is
these
crazy.
I do not want to be a slave anymore. That's all.
Right. And if you get another job, then it becomes you like you're trading or something like that. Especially in the restaurant industry. Like if I go to another restaurant, I'm like with the enemy. Like I'm not with none of y'all. I'm trying to make some money. I don't know what y'all talking about. Okay. Questions from the studio audience. Questions. Anybody? Question on Instagram, Facebook. Y'all got questions? In my studio audience? No? Panique. Oh, you got it all figured out, huh? She ain't got no questions. Okay. All right. So anything going on in your world that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Nothing is going on too tough right now.
No? Nothing? Oh,
I mean, I have a
If
lot.
you're gonna be my first off,
First of all,
let's
I
set
have
the-
a lot
let's set the
going on,
groundwork.
but I don't have
Okay.
anything that I need to share on necessarily on the podcast.
okay, cool. So we got to fix that.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough.
As my co-host, okay, I want people to see you go from like not having nothing to share right now to always having something to share.
Okay,
Entrepreneurship means we always have something to share. Like if there's a captive audience, what do you want people to do? I mean, you can give them a vision about the podcast. You can give them, have some products. Is there a website up? Remember we talked about it? The only time, just
First
I was
of
talking to her
all,
fiance.
first of all, this is David.
No, that was last week. That was last week.
That was last week.
What did I text you, Tom? What did I text you?
That was last week.
No, yeah, that was last week. What did I text you, Tom?
I don't know what you text him.
No, I'm asking Tom. What did I text you? Okay, now I can't pull it up because
You got to get your proof
it's
up.
on my phone. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Let's get this proof going.
Okay.
Because I said to Tom, I said something like, Hold on. We about to get to it. I was pretty much telling him to prepare you because you need to like really be ready because we about to launch you.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Watch. Okay. Dang, I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. But when I do find it,
that was real.
Find it, Tom. I know you got it over there.
So I'm working with I'm working with the Shooters Agency, right? And so we have some things that are launching. We're actually launching this month.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Can I? Because I found the evidence. Okay, I said
he's all about the proof, guys.
Did Dacia tell you I wanted her to be my co-host? He said, yes, she did. Thanks for doing it. Look at Tom over there reading it along with me. I said, no doubt. She's got great perspective. I think she could really grow a huge following with this. Let's both help her get her merch ready. She's going to be a big personality. Watch. We'll have a different thumbnail. For her and I just need one for the previous episodes or whatever. And Tom said, oh yeah, I already know. She already has some merch. Website for her products. I'm also working on building content for her personal site.
Absolutely. So I have right.
I'm also
I have a
first
website,
off
Glow
this
Girl
was
World.
Yeah, but my point was this was July 25th.
Okay.
My point was I said we need to get Dacia's merch ready because people are going to fall in love with Dacia.
Oh.
That's what I said. And Tom said I'm also working on building content for her personal site. And what does that mean? I'm working on building content.
Yeah, so we did that. Like we got those coming out. We did a whole.
You don't have to do. You don't
photo
have
shoot and
to.
everything.
You don't have to.
Y'all always do photo shoots. The merch. Remember we talked about the merch?
Yep. So we're working on
We
some
got
good
it?
stuff.
All right.
No.
All right. Well, let us know.
I appreciate you shouting us out.
Just saying.
What
We
you got
have
going
no
on?
secrets around here,
No
okay?
secrets.
Let's go. Anything we can talk about in front of the whole world.
Yeah, I purchased a domain and we got some design stuff coming, and so
I love it.
Yeah.
This is a good start, too.
Yeah.
And it, like, people are really going to see you become a beast in the next 6 months.
Oh.
And it's
I'm
going to be
excited.
amazing.
I'm excited.
You and I both.
I'm excited.
Oh. So, all right,
Brandon raised his hand.
Hold on. So, yes, right after, because she was talking about Shooters Camp. Go for it.
Yeah, I was talking about the agency, but the camp is starting on. We have Q3 that's starting up in August, and then Q4 will start up later this year. So make sure you go to shooterscamp.com, right? Okay. /class. Why does it? Okay. So shooterscamp.com to go ahead and go ahead and visit that page to learn more about how you can register and be a part of something amazing. And really, I have a chance to watch it up close and personal because I helped Brandon with some behind the scenes work for that. And I get to see how he really is transforming lives. And he's really touching people in a way where they become a part of a family.
Yeah.
And it's a strong cohort. So it means just like, for those that don't know what that means.
I was going to fix you because I know what cohort was, but you said it wrong.
I did.
Miss English major. Okay,
Cohort.
I watched Read a Rainbow.
Cohort.
Cohort. It's actually a 2-word compound. It's a conjunction. It's a conjunction.
Junction. What's your function? All right. So yeah, I just really appreciate seeing how he's really transforming lives and giving people purpose and giving people really confidence to do something, and giving them a platform to make money. Because people can talk a good talk about, yeah, you should go out there, you should do something, but then it's different when you actually can physically give them something to do and help them to get from point A to point B and then actually see the cash come into their pocket.
And what's your role? How do you make this whole situation better?
So I don't do as much for the camp. Honestly, I've been focusing on the agency and building that part out and helping him conceptualize from start where he wanted to give these shooters that come out of the camp, they need actual employment. And so working with a lot of his connections in the industry currently, I mean, he has some amazing networks to say, okay, Kendall, we need some people to come and service you, and I have these people I can call on, and we can go ahead and get them real jobs. And so working on the contracts behind the scenes alongside Tyra Baruti, shout out to Tyra, She's an amazing support staff member. Co-staff member. And so just making sure that they get support that they need. And
I'm not sure co-staff member.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think staff members already.
I was trying to really get through that. I really messed it up. Okay, David, I made a huge mistake in my words. Okay, so yeah, I messed up.
Because I went to English class in college. I went there. I was there.
But just helping them get it together.
I enrolled. Okay,
you did enroll.
Good.
Yeah, but Brandon actually had a question. He keeps raising his hand like he's in class.
Okay. Go for it.
I mean, I like to be transparent. So I have a weakness. I try not to pick up the phone a lot, but when I do pick up the phone, I really like helping people, and I be on the phone for a long time and it really messes up my day. So how do I stop from being,
on the phone so much?
You gotta quit it. You gotta quit.
Oh yeah, you gotta quit. Throw your phone away.
Do you not answer your phone, David?
Yeah, I answer my phone sometimes. Not all the time. If I know what the conversation's about and it's not going to serve me, then no, I don't. Or if
so if you called David and he did not answer,
it's probably because you call and every time you pick up, you ain't talking about nothing. So we create the pattern. So if Brandon calls, I'm pick up. Like, because if I, my phone's on silent 98% of the time. But so I guess maybe that's why I don't pick up sometimes, because I don't hear it, one.
Yeah.
And then when I see somebody call, it's like, all right, I got to call back, but I got to finish what I'm doing. But by the time I finish what I'm doing, a couple other people called or text, and I forgot all about your little call. Not your little call, but.
Yeah.
So for those people that's out there, I'm not ignoring you. Okay, I just didn't hear it, and then I just didn't call back.
That's the same for me. That's the same for me.
You don't have to. You don't got to answer your phone. They don't pay the bill. Shoot.
So to answer Brandon's question, like, how does he, you have to screen it a little bit better. But I think to David's point, I mean, David will speak for himself, but it sounds like you're presuming why they're calling you. You may not know why they're calling. You're
right. But I can get a pattern. Okay, I know you never dated nobody before, but if there was a
I actually did.
person,
we talk about that all the time.
Say there was a person that you had some history with, right? Every time he called, let's say for instance, it's over, right? And every time he called, he trying to get back. He call again, trying to get back with you. You like, bro, I'm done.
At some point, you're not going to answer the phone anymore.
At some point, you know the pattern.
Sure.
Even if they say, yo, I need to swing by. I left the back of my charger at your crib.
That happened to me before.
I need to come grab.
That happened to me before, but in my past, it doesn't exist anymore. It did happen to me before.
Like, yo, I bought a 2-liter Coke, and it's at your crib. I need to come pick it up.
Didn't I leave my hat at your house? And I was like, no, sir. You know that you didn't leave anything here.
Right.
Like, don't do that.
So instead of going through that, I just don't pick up the phone, especially if I see the pattern. Mm-mm. And I have some friends, I love my friends, but I have some friends that when they call, they don't talk about nothing. So especially if I'm in the middle of something, and I'm always in the middle of something, and if I'm not in the middle of something, I probably just got out of being in the middle of something and I just want my own me time, or I'm with my family. So it's almost like never a right time to call. But sometimes I am not doing nothing. I'm like, oh, let me just pick it up. So
okay. So to answer Brandon's question,
why not?
We don't
answer the question.
We don't really know how to answer it. It seems.
Yeah, you need to figure that out,
we
brother.
Just need you. We need you to figure that. But no, seriously, I think that you need to start setting some limits. So even if you do pick up, I would say, maybe put a timer on and just say like a 5 or 10 minute thing, and say like after 10 minutes, we just gonna say, hey, so I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go. But or what I do typically, if I know I don't really have a lot of time to talk, but I do want to just go ahead and pick up the phone to get it out the way. And that's like a way to not to get it out the way, but to see what's going on. I can start off the conversation with, hey, I have a limited time window, but I did want to take your call. So how you doing? What's going on? And then if they have something more in depth that they need to talk to you about that you don't have time for in that moment, you can say, well, let's set up something to catch up later.
First off, Patricia with a K, she sent me a text message. Of like she's updating the show notes.
Is she okay?
Come on, you better come through. So she said Alexander _ DE_great2020 said, "Hi, I am 95% blind and I've just opened a home business baking goods. What can I do to expect expansion?"
First
That's
of
deep.
all, God bless you.
For sure. Absolutely.
What?
No excuses. Yo, first off, whatever you did
Love it.
to like to
To
start,
even send this message.
yeah, like for whatever you did to start and get it going, keep doing that, brother.
Yeah.
Because it's people with 100% of their site
Baking
still not doing a
goods.
thing.
What can I do to expect an expansion?
Yeah. So I think one of the first things you could do is we got 15 seconds left. It timed out. I think one of the first things you could do
Oh yeah.
is
In 17, 15. No.
I think one of the first things you could do is tell your story. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I feel like you keep telling your story.
For sure. Any and everywhere.
Any and everywhere.
Absolutely.
Keep telling your story, make great products, and don't let your handicap, don't use your
Disability.
handicap. Yeah, don't use your disability
Yeah.
as something to sell.
Yeah.
But just tell your story of
Yeah.
relentlessness and like determination.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find a longer word. Something fancy.
Something fancy. See, that's the difference. I'm not actually trying to say fancy words.
Well, excuse me, I'm trying, okay? Because I don't got a whole bunch of fancy words in my repertoire. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for some fancy words, okay? Goodness gracious. Okay, let's wrap this thing up, man.
But I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
man,
nah,
shout
that's
out
dope.
to Alexander
The Great.
the Great 2020. I'm gonna follow you because I want to learn more about this blind
Yeah, let's go on and follow
home
Alexander
business,
the
baking
Great.
business.
I'm going to follow him, too.
I'm curious to know where he's located. Is he in Atlanta or
I'm a
he or she?
I'm about to follow him right now.
Okay, let me do it.
That's about to be my
Where's my
BFF. Okay? I want some cookies. All right, cool. All right, so listen, everybody follow Alexander. Alexander. Alexander.
Let's,
Alexander.
Is that? Hold on.
The Great.
Let's just fact check that.
Oh, unless you spelled it wrong.
Well,
Are you saying Patricia with a K spelled it wrong?
No, I'm not.
Alexander.
I'm just trying to pick it up real quick
Alexander.
because that doesn't sound completely right. But maybe
You ain't never met an Alexander? It's spelled AlexAndeander. Alexander. Is that right? You can't find it either, right? Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, I'm sorry. We tried to shut you out, man, but
we did.
keep doing it.
We're gonna find. Patricia, just update it when you can, and then we'll holla back. We'll find you. We're gonna find
Holla back. Holla back. You gotta stop this. So look, man, we about to get up out of here, man. Thank y'all for being our guests. And if you want to sponsor our podcast, how Shooters Camp sponsors our podcast, please send an email to Dacia, that's DACIA, at realsocialproof.com. Make sure you're at Real Social Proof 2020. I don't know when you're listening to this, but Real Social Proof 2020 is April 2nd and 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia. You can go to realsocialproof.com and check it out, okay? It is about to be amazing. It's going to be a movie, okay? You got any...
and then we want to use a hashtag so people can... if they're going to tweet about it or Instagram about it.
Hashtag Social Proof Podcast.
Yep.
Social Proof Podcast.
All
right, cool. Let's get out of here. Until next time. We got to end it the same way.
Okay.
How are we going to end the podcast? Because first off, our intro is all over the place. We need to come up with an ending, like peace or...
Really? Because I couldn't do crunk. But you can do peace.
You can do peace. Peace is that word is never done.
1995. It was.
All right, y'all. Peace. Peace. Like when you get off the phone. Peace.
Peace.
Okay, it does sound corny.
Yeah.
But it's way better than crunk. I don't know where you're not even from down here. Where you get that? All right, so we just go.
Crunk dancing recently came back in the last couple of years. Right?
That's crump.
Crump.
Somebody get her an intern. Like you need an intern to keep you young out here.
I have siblings. because I don't know. It's just, it is what it is.
Look, man,
Listen,
please follow
we
me
here.
on Instagram at sleepisfor with the number 4 suckers, SUCKERS. And you can follow Dacia.
It's me, Dacia. It's your girl. And you can follow me at Dacia.
Stop, my neck hurt. You gotta stop. Her words either real smart or real old. Like, we don't know what's going on. Okay. My neck hurt. I can't do this. Yo, I'm sorry. Yo, I'm hurting over here. I need to go home and lay down. Okay.
It's Dacia Ruth, and that's DACIARUTH, and on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And I look forward to connecting with you there.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
All right. Bye.
Peace.